Salve. In this video we're going to learn about third conjugation verbs in the present tense. Now up to this point we've seen first conjugation, in which the first principal part always ends with an O, and the second principal part always ends with ARE. So here we get verbs such as amo, amare. We've also learned second conjugation, where the first principal part ends with EO, and the second ends with ERE. Hopefully you'll remember that this ending always has an accent mark over that first E. In this conjugation we have verbs such as habeo, habere. Alright, now we get to third conjugation, which, to be honest, is trickier than the first two, and you'll see why in a minute. First, the principal parts. The first principal part will always end with just the letter O. The second will always end with ERE, but you'll notice that we don't have an accent mark over the E this time like we did in second conjugation, and that is how you can tell the two apart. In third conjugation, we get verbs such as ago, agere, which means to do or to drive, and you'll notice how the infinitive form is pronounced. In second conjugation, we had verbs such as habere, tenere, or timere. The accent mark there tells us to emphasize that syllable. However, in third conjugation, we have no accent mark there, so instead the words are pronounced agere, curere, and legere. Okay, let's see an example of a third conjugation verb in the present tense. We'll use kuro, curere, which means to run. We get the words current and cursive from this. As has always been the case, the first principal part is the first person singular present tense form, so here we just have kuro. Now here's where the tricky part comes into play. Previously, you've learned that to form the present tense, you take the second principal part and drop the RE to get the verb stem, then add your ending to that stem. However, with third conjugation, we have another step to remember. Since this E isn't accented, like it would be in second conjugation, it's a weak sound. As a result, it basically gets smushed into an I. Then we add the ending, so the result is kuris. We'll do the same for the third singular, and we get kurit. In the plural, we'll have kurimus and kuritis. Then in the third plural, something else changes. Instead of having an I before the ending, we'll have a U, so the result is kurunt. The English translations of these will be no different than what we've seen before. Kuro is I run. I am running would be acceptable as well. Kuris is you run. Kurit is he or she runs. Kurimus is we run. Kuritis is you run, or y'all run if you prefer. And kurunt is they run. Okay, now for the imperative forms. The singular imperative has always been formed by taking the second principal part, i.e. the infinitive, and dropping the RE ending. That is still the case here, so we get kure, which means run. For the plural imperative, we've always taken that singular form and added TE, and we still will, but since this is third conjugation, the E will again shorten to an I before we add the ending, and we get kurite, which also means run. Okay, now let's practice with another verb. Here we have scribo, scribere, which means to write. We get scribe, description, inscription, scribble, and all kinds of other things from this. So that first person singular form, again, is there, so we just have scribo. Now we'll use the second principal part, but we shorten the E to an I again, and we get scribis, scribit, scribimus, scribitis, and then in the third plural, we'll again change it to a U, and we get scribunt. The English meanings will follow the same pattern as before, so we have I am writing, although I write would be just as acceptable. Then you are writing, he or she is writing, we are writing, you are writing, and they are writing. For the imperatives, we'll again drop the RE and get scribe, meaning write. For the plural, we will again shorten the E to an I, add the ending, and get scribite, which again means write. And that is it. Okay, that is it for third conjugation. Let me know if you have any questions. Wale.